What's it like being friends with an influencer in real life? Awful. One of my best friends fell real hard into Instagram. And for a few years it was tolerable and understandable, albeit strange and annoying. Everything needed to be documented in specific ways, so lots and lots of photos, even if it took away from the moment. But the strange part was how, when it happened, she'd share things, and the captions always told a slightly different story than what actually happened. Like, just off enough for me and my other friends to say, that has a weird quality to it. Fast forward a couple of years and she gets engaged. Boom. This was the catalyst for the worst of the influencer mentality to come out. I was in the bridal party and it was a nightmare. No gratitude, just demands. Demands for expensive trips and expensive parties, and all kinds of things that were above and beyond the means of her closest friends. And all the demands were because she had a following and had certain expectations to meet. It was really heart-wrenching to witness someone belittle their best friend and maid of honor for trying to plan a sweet bridal shower because it wasn't going to be at an expensive restaurant or art gallery. It reached its peak for me when, after the in-state wedding became an expensive destination wedding, there was the demand for an out-of-town bachelorette party a few weeks before. I was honest and said I couldn't afford the bachelorette. Mind you, I made about 1,000 sacrifices over these months to afford what I could, and I was promptly bridezillaed and told I ruined the whole experience and that I was an awful, fake, inauthentic person. It got so bad that the bridal party fractured and disintegrated. She lost 2 of her best friends. Myself and the maid of honor didn't even attend the wedding after all her behavior and blow-ups, and we've barely spoken since. All so she could have an Instagrammable wedding that would look good for the few photos she ended up sharing of it. And true to the weird, strange, rewritten reality ways she had, she published a public apology on her blog for her followers and family that completely distorted and rewrote what happened, painted herself as the victim, and got her the sympathy points she was looking for. People really lose themselves when they create an artifice for social media. I learned a lot from her. I dated one, not super popular, but followers in the 100k range last time we spoke. I remember a lot of getting ignored and only receiving nice gifts or acts of kindness when they could post about it. Asking me to go nice places, they didn't drive, only to leave me on the beach somewhere while they took pictures. Huge strain on the relationship, especially when they started to get bigger and there was more demand for content. Maybe I'm too cynical, but I could see myself dating an awful, vapid, but attractive person over a summer to bum off the expensive trips and gifts for a few months before leaving. Am I a crap person for that? Actually, don't answer. I'll be happier that way. She hasn't come to anything I've invited her to in 5 years because she only goes to events that further her business. Regularly says things like, "We're all using each other for something." Sometimes she texts me the exact same thing, word for word, over a couple of days, and it's obvious she just copy-pastes the same thing and sends it to all of us and then forgets who she sent it to. She still reaches out to me multiple times a year and claims I'm one of her best friends, but it sure doesn't feel like it. I've told her as much, but she just says, "This is my life now, my business comes first, and if you can't accept that, then I guess you're not a real friend." I worked with YouTube influencers in my last job with an agency that paired sponsors with these celebrities. I basically did the grunt work like insuring hotels, plane tickets, getting coffee, running errands, and meeting with the talent to ensure they were where they needed to be, like events, conferences, trade shows, parties, or whatever. Over time, you make friends with others who are in those positions, especially when you're running errands for some entitled pseudo-celebrity. The nicest YouTubers were the animators, always calm and understanding. The worst were the family vloggers. I've met all the big ones and I never met one that wasn't a completely different person off camera. The kids are always spoiled and no one disciplines them, so they're running around breaking things or acting like idiots. And no one can yell at them lest their influencer parents find out. A close second is makeup YouTubers. Pretty mundane, honestly. My friend is conventionally attractive, and if you look at her social media, you'd think she were a supermodel millionaire who goes on tons of trips. She's actually chronically unemployed and has an income of less than 10k a year. Her boyfriend makes about 60k, which is enough to afford them a very nice 3.5-bedroom apartment, and she has tons of props she uses to make each room look different from day to day, so it seems like she's always in a new, exotic place. They take 2 trips a year to fun, tropical places in which she takes many photos and posts them as different places throughout the year. She's very kind, considerate, and a sparkling personality, but whenever we hang out, I tend to be a shoulder to cry on as she laments about her lack of success in life. It's quite sad, honestly, but with her creativity and personality, I think she'll achieve her dreams eventually. This is the most wholesome response I've seen in this post so far, yet it still manages to be sad. If anything, because she's actually a nice person, like you say, that actually makes it sadder than other responses I've read. It's annoying as frick. One of my buddies is constantly filming everything we do and posting it. It's to the point where people walk up to me on the street and ask me about him because they've seen me in his posts. I have no idea who they are. It dominates everything he does and has severely impacted his personal relationships. He can't keep a girlfriend, and it's clearly related to this obsession of his. He does occasionally get some cool stuff out of it, though. After pretty much kicking him out of my life because I don't want to be continually posted online, we come to an understanding that when he's about to take a pic or video, he hands me the phone so I'm not in the shot. That works okay for me. Friends with a high-profile athlete who's pretty popular on Insta. He's always on the phone and never lives in the moment. If we're doing anything fun, well, it basically didn't happen unless the world knows about it. It's just annoying. I can't imagine living for the approval or satisfaction of others. This was my ex-girlfriend. I couldn't eat before she took a dozen pictures. We went hiking and had to turn around less than a mile in, since she spent an hour taking photos and posting videos. Service connection wasn't good enough, so we went to the trail ahead. She had to post, or else people are gonna think I'm broke or depressed and they need to know I'm traveling. She lived her life through her phone. I post travel photos and have about 200 followers, 200, not 2,000 or higher. My friend somehow thought that was influencer status and decided to copy me, except she quit her job so she could travel more and grow her brand. In 2020, she lost her apartment, her car, and still hasn't found a job, but calls herself a professional influencer all the same. Professional influencer? Jesus fricking Christ. I know a wannabe influencer. She'll reply to her own posts from her husband's account praising herself. Then she'll reply to those posts as herself thanking him. It's hilarious, like Inception for Facebook. Apparently this is not uncommon. I frequent a gossip blog that has a handful of crackpot commenters who, savvier members claim, have created multiple accounts to start drama and argue with themselves and others. The same individual has been accused of this multiple times, and the accusers seem pretty positive about it. It's a major disruption and a pain in the butt for those of us who just go there to read the blind items and guess the celebrity talk or some standard trash. At one point, the site master had to rejigger the whole site to implement a new commenting platform so we could self-regulate. It's a shame. We lost almost 10 years of historical comments with accurate, juicy details as a result. Hey, don't judge me. We all have our weird little communities, right? Ugh. Fabricating workplace drama with yourself? That's enough internet for the human race, I think. Let's burn it all down. Oh wait, I need it for my job. Damn it! Anyone want to buy cassette tapes of these videos from me via snail mail instead? To be honest, it's really crap to be friends with one. I feel like I've been completely forgotten about and like I don't matter anymore. I think that's just some weird misguided jealousy, but it still hurts because I miss talking to my friend. Depending on how far down the narcissism hole you think your friend has gone versus how normal they still are, it could be worthwhile having a chat about it or sending a brief text like, "Hey, hope you're rocking your online life. I miss chilling like we used to, and I'd love to hang out off the grid sometime. Let me know if you're down." But I don't know, that could be too cringe. I mean, I threw up a little at the rocking your online life part, but it is great advice, from most of these posts actually. Sad. In the beginning, they started because they got offers from brands because they were so popular on Instagram, and it was a lot of fun for them. Now they don't ever post pictures or videos without a filter. Rarely ever like a picture on the first try, and don't you dare post any pictures of them without getting their approval for it. Imagine trying to get a group picture with all of your friends for your birthday, but having to take almost 100 shots to get that one of your influencer friend that they're happy with. Also, in the beginning, I would like and comment on all of their posts, but now that's not enough. They expect me to message it to others, share it on my stories and my page, something about the new algorithms and likes not being important anymore. I hate posting stuff to my page, but I do it anyway to be supportive. It's so tiring. They do get free things sometimes though, that they sometimes share with me. Not worth it in my opinion. My cousin is a wannabe influencer. She kept denying family photos at a birthday party, so her mum told her just not to be in pictures anymore. Haha, idiot got a reality check. So incredibly annoying. I actually ended up cutting her off because everything had to be a photo opportunity. We could never just go out to lunch or see a movie without it turning into a photo shoot. She never did anything with our friend group unless it was aesthetic. And even then, she was so focused on getting us to take photos that A, she didn't get to enjoy the activity, and B, it started bringing everyone else down because they couldn't participate either. And this sounds so petty, but she could never just show up in a t-shirt and leggings. Because photos, obviously. Like even sleepovers and movie nights had to be a big production, and sometimes you just need to stuff your face with popcorn and look like a slob. It's good for the soul. She'd also complain a lot about how hard her job was. Our friendship group at the time consisted of an EMT, 2 nurses, a teacher, and me who was juggling university, tutoring, and working retail. Like, I'm sure she had challenges and all jobs are hard sometimes, but girl, you get paid to take selfies with free stuff and show up at events looking pretty. You can submit your own stories to be featured here on the channel. The story submission link is in the description below. And if you want to listen to some vibey music in the background, check out Easy Mode, also linked below, and subscribe. Mine became a horrible, self-centered bully. Exactly as fake and staged as you imagine it to be, the on-camera moments are completely non-genuine. It is, in the end, just an acting or modeling job and not their real personality. The fake laughing in photos is always so cringe-inducing for me to watch. Then the photo is taken and the smile is instantly replaced with a furrowed brow as they decide whether the pictures are acceptable. No, they're not. They hand the camera back to whoever and restart the candid laughing all over again. I sold my place to one a while ago, one of those newly green, sustainable body positivity types. Pretty much everything about what this person projects as a social media image is as fake as it turned out. It was quite a sobering experience. She is annoying. There's no other word to describe her. I feel sorry for her because she's a person that needs attention all the time. We're not friends, but we live in the same house. Everything is fake. The attitude, the mannerisms, everything. It sounds stupid until you realize they clear close to 7 figures a year. One time we vacationed with them, and when we were out to dinner, they said to us, "1 second, we need to go and film a bit." And they went from our friends, who are calm and nice, to their, "Hey guys, we're in the beautiful south of France." Annoying people everyone loves to hate. I've got a friend with 75k subscribers on YouTube in a language other than English. It used to be about their weekend getaways with nice drone shots. It was interesting. Then gradually became about their lives. She gets her phone or camera out at sometimes random moments, which could get annoying. She got pregnant, and now everything is about the baby. Oh, that poor child. I'd hope that she's at least one of the ones that doesn't show the baby's face, but that seems like I'm asking too much for some of these people. Honestly, she's really nice. She hosted a book club in a bar I worked at and would always order wine or pretty cocktails for photos. But once everyone left, she'd sit at the bar and shoot the crap with me while drinking yard beers. My sister has tens of thousands of followers. We used to be best friends in high school, and she was my favorite sibling. I'm number 7 out of 8 kids in my family. I know my parents are crazy. Now I feel like I barely know her. It's like she's this shell of a person that she used to be. Seriously, I've never met anyone who could make me laugh as hard as she used to make me laugh. Now I just sort of want to blow my brains out when I'm around her. She's just so obsessed and fake now. It actually makes me really sad. My wife has a friend that thinks she's a Kardashian with her 80k followers and does everything for the gram. Her ex-boyfriend bought most of them, and she only gets around 50 likes per post. Not a friend per se, but my ex's sister is an influencer for beauty and makeup, with over 1 million followers on YouTube. She was so anxious and stressed all the time, horribly insecure. If she got some backlash or bad comments, she'd be so upset, was on a lot of anti-anxiety medication. And meanwhile, all of her posts are just her looking beautiful and traveling. She didn't have many friends either. That I saw anyway, just lots of fans. It looked like a terrible life. It ruined the illusion for me, that their lifestyles are happy and perfect, that is, and I'm thankful for being able to see behind the curtain. One of my friends dated someone that was really Instagram famous. He invited us to his house for a Christmas party, and this was when I realized how fake social media really is. The guy didn't have the car he paraded on social media. He had leased it, taken several photo shoots with it, and then given it back. His house was in a different city than he claimed. I don't think it was for security reasons, though. He said he lived in a very rich city, but his house was in a more modest place. He asked me to send him the videos I took at the party and posted them and didn't even tag me because I didn't have enough followers. The worst part was that all the social media people at the party just kept yelling over each other trying to make the next big joke, but none of them were funny. Dude has millions of people fooled. The part about always trying to make the next big joke but not being funny is incredibly relatable. I ran with a popular crowd in high school. I was a major D-bag too, and I regret it. And we all liked to pretend we were influencers. Always had our phones out, always recording things, and constantly trying to make videos like the Vines and the 30-minute Vine compilations we'd watch. At least we had the excuse of being dumb high schoolers, but man, was it cringy. I have a friend who's recently started trying to become one. It's so dumb. She posts half-undressed photos of herself with captions that have nothing to do with the picture. She spends hours getting ready for her iPhone photo shoots and has little time for anything besides content creation. Being an influencer is pretty much against everything I care about and stand for, so I envision us slowly drifting further apart. That crap is stupid. I'm not friends with any of my influencers anymore, but I used to work in San Diego nightlife, and I had to rub elbows with a lot of these types. I'm talking 1 to 6 million follower type girls who were brought into the club as promoters, back in 2016 when 1 million followers was a huge deal. The girls themselves aren't actually that bad. Some are crazy entitled, but for the most part they're there for business, and San Diego is a small enough town that reputation matters. The worst were the sub-suckers. Other girls who had fewer than 1 million followers who hung around to try and soak up subscribers and make contacts in the industry. Think of them like small-time actors who think they're a big deal because they've got a few pilots in production. I'm not big now, but you should kiss my butt because I'm the next big thing types. These girls would literally do nothing but take pictures all night or all day depending on the club and demand free bottles, extra service, and other garbage without ever tipping. F influencers. I went on a date with one and it was just frustrating. Pleasant enough girl, but she was on her phone a lot. I had sympathy since it's her job, but I felt ignored a lot of the time we were together. It's sad. You always watch them slowly mentally degrade. Always ends in full-blown NPD or them having literally zero self-confidence. Their goal is to meet artificial metrics in terms of likes or views or follows. For a lot of them, that's their definition of success or their goal in life, and if they're not hitting it, they've failed as people in their minds. So they go one of two routes. One is thinking that they're really not good enough and don't deserve to be liked, which leads to a lack of confidence and then becoming a shell of the person they used to be. 2 is narcissism, where they come to the conclusion that they're the best person ever and no one else knows what they're talking about, and every single flaw, fault, or mistake they've ever made is someone else's fault. That sounds like a rough life to live, and I wouldn't wish it upon anyone, to be honest. Not an influencer as such, but I worked as an animator for an educational kids YouTube channel for a number of years. My boss was obsessed with views and subscriber count. A big part of one of my colleagues' jobs was spending hours trawling through all of our competitors' videos and channels, putting all of their views and subscriber counts into a massive spreadsheet. He also couldn't work out why none of his employees were as invested in the channel as he was, and why we weren't all clamoring to do huge amounts of unpaid overtime in the name of furthering the channel's growth. When I got hired, the channel had just passed 1 million subs and 1 billion views, and both those numbers doubled by the time I left. This was a few years ago, before YouTube Kids was even a thing, but kids' videos always get a huge amount of views anyway. Last I heard, he had fired all of his remaining employees and was making unboxing videos alone in his house that got hardly any views. My sister was an influencer of sorts. She was on Instagram doing bodybuilding and was sponsored by a few protein shake companies. She didn't have mega fame or anything, but did have friends in high places. She was one of those B-word popular girls in high school, and that persona carried on into her influencer career. She was very distant from her family and cut off most of her old friends. The few times she did visit, she was very selective about who could be seen with her. She moved to another city to be closer to the bodybuilding scene, building followers up as she went. She dated some guy who gave her a lavish lifestyle for a bit, then cheated on her after a few years. Probably the entire time, actually. So she moved to the other side of the country, continued her bodybuilding, but then decided she wanted to be a cop. They told her she'd never be a cop with a social media presence like that, because too easy for the media to use it against her, so she went home, deleted every account that day, and then went back. Now, she's a cop, and doing so much better in life than she ever did before. All of her old personality is gone, and I've never been prouder of her in my life. She's really nice now and spends her days being a small-town cop in the middle of nowhere. I've driven 3 hours, hiked 1 hour so they could take a couple of photos over about 5 minutes and then whined that they were ready to go home. Sometimes they'll buy unhealthy but grammable food, take photos of them licking it, and then throw it out. I also have a friend who, when overseas, will set alarms for like 3 a.m. to wake up and post their photos from the day at the peak time back home. I haven't seen them for a while. My cousin is a moderately successful Instagram model and she absolutely hates it. She hates her fans, finds them all cringy and pathetic, hates the drama and how PC it all is. In real life, she's very conservative and traditional. Only does it because it's the only way she can make money. She dropped out of school and endorsing products and taking pictures of herself is the only way she knows how to pay rent. In real life, she's basically the complete opposite of the happy, bubbly, ditzy girl she plays online. And we often laugh over some of the messages she receives, including proposals and women angry that their sons or husbands are following her. How do people not realize it's all an act? I mean, damn, it took all of 15 picoseconds of my girlfriend showing me people she follows on Instagram to realize these aren't authentic people living realistic lives. And I'm a frickin' moron. He was cool, but at the same time, difficult. Get him alone and he was okay, but go out places with him and he started unnecessary drama and was super emotional. I ended up not being friends with him after a convention we went to because he caused a lot of trouble for me and my friends. It sucked because I was the one who intervened and allowed him to stay and all of my friends were super upset with him, so I felt like I allowed a lot of the issues. I hope he's doing okay though. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. Put the playlist on in the background to finish listening to all the stories, or if you want some vibey music to put on in the background, check out Easy Mode. If you like Am I the Genius, give Am I the Jerk a shot. Everything linked in the description.